It's another Getting Real with Ashleydawn. I'm Ashleydawn, and we're going to get real. So in this video, I want to talk about something that's super duper personal to me, and that is healing. Healing. Do you have scars? I do. I've got a bunch of them. I have physical scars on my body from accidents and things that have happened to me. I have a scar between my forehead when my head went through a windshield, and I had a whole bunch of stitches. I have a scar on the top of my head from where I had to have plastic surgery to have something removed from my head, and I had staples, and so there's a scar there. I have scars all over my body. I have one on my foot. I have a bunch on my back. I actually have one, which is why I wanted to do this video. I have stitches in my back right now. I had surgery last week for a spot on my back that I had a biopsy on, didn't come back good. So this is like, I don't even know, the 5th or 6th surgery that I've had on my back in different spots. But in this spot particularly, there are stitches on the inside of me and stitches on the outside of me. And it's very easy to look at that and to think, okay, God, what is going on? Why am I getting these scars all over my body? Why am I going and getting all these surgeries? You know, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed and think about the scar and think about, you know, man, I'm a young woman. I don't want scars all over my body. I don't want to have reminders of these things, you know, all over me. And that's just the physical part. I have scars emotionally. I have scars mentally. I have thoughts that have hurt me. I have things that I've went through and things that I've experienced, and I have scars from that, and I have things that have been done to me from people that I loved and people that I thought loved me back, that there's scars there. And I was just thinking about it and really spending time with God, and I was reminded that a scar is really proof, for one, that you went through something difficult, but two, of God's healing in your life. A scar says this was healed. And yes, a scar is a reminder that healing needed to happen, but a scar is a healed piece of skin, essentially. It's healed. It's not a fresh wound. It's healed. And yes, there's a reminder that pain existed there, but it's healed. And you may be saying, well, Ashleydawn, you know, the stitches you just got, like, that's not a scar yet. No, it's not. Right now I'm in the healing process. And my healing process looks different than other people's healing process. Depending on what you go through is depending on how long it takes you to heal from it. Depending on if you listen to the doctor or not. Depending on if you follow their, you know, post-procedure instructions, says if it's going to heal properly or not. Some of us don't listen to God, right? Some of us just kind of take matters into our own hands, and we kind of do whatever we want. We're just like, God, you know, whatever. And we don't ask Him for His healing. We don't ask Him to help us in the healing process. Maybe we go through something really difficult. Maybe we lose somebody. Maybe we, you know, go through a divorce. Maybe we go through a really bad breakup, and we're stressed out, and we're like, okay, God, why is this happening? Why is this happening, God? It hurts. And God's like, just trust me. I'm going to heal you in that area. And not only am I going to heal you in that area, I'm going to teach you what's necessary for you to heal, so that when you encounter other people that are going through the same thing, you can help them, you can coach them, you can encourage them through their healing process too. Our healing isn't just for us, it's for the people all around us. For instance, when I went to my dermatologist, the nurse was telling me about different things that she had with herself, different scars that she has, and how they've healed, and different products that she's used. I was telling her I had another surgery 6 months ago, and I have a pretty big scar from that. And I was telling her, like, I'd really like to not have such a big scar, you know, this go round. And she was telling me, well, I had a surgery and I used this gel. It's a silicone base. It's called Scar Away. And, you know, it really helped my scar to go away, and maybe it will help yours too. If she hadn't experienced that, she wouldn't know what to tell me. But now because she told me that, I can get the scar away and I can put it on, and hopefully my scar will go away. And then if it does work, and if my scar does go away, then I can help others and I can encourage others to use that same product so that their scars will go away too, or be less visible. With that said, our scars tell the story of things we've went through. Our scars encourage others that there is healing for them too. It's so easy to admire a tattoo, right? My dad was a tattoo artist. I grew up in the tattoo world. One of my first jobs was my dad's tattoo shop, and that was my life. I watched people get scars filled with ink that were very beautiful my whole life. My dad was covered in tattoos. My mom is covered in tattoos. Many of the people that I love are covered in tattoos. Why do we admire the beauty of a tattoo, but we don't admire the beauty of a scar? Essentially, a tattoo is just a scar with ink in it. And essentially, most tattoos are just for vain purposes. They're because somebody wanted a picture on them forever. Somebody wanted some, body art to be on them forever. It doesn't tell a story of something they've went through unless somebody is getting a tattoo over top of a scar to, make it beautiful or to remind them of something. But for the most part, it's just a tattoo. It's just a picture on your skin. It's a beauty treatment, if you will. It's body art. But why do we admire tattoos? Why are we constantly, oh, that's a beautiful tattoo. I love your tattoo. Why don't we do that with scars? Why don't we look at somebody with scars and say, wow, that's a really big scar. Can you tell me the story? Can you tell me the story of what happened with that scar? We do that with tattoos. We ask people, oh, can you tell me what that means? That's so cool. Like, can you tell me what that stands for? But we don't do that for scars. We don't say, hey, that's a really big scar. How did you get that? Wow, it must have hurt. You overcame something hard. Wow, that's really beautiful that you went through that and you are living to tell the story of it. So often we look down on scars and we think, oh my gosh, that's an ugly scar. Really? Really, is it ugly? I don't think so. I don't think scars are ugly. Scars are proof that somebody lived through something difficult. Somebody went through something. I have friends that have had heart surgeries and they have scars on their chests. That scar isn't ugly, it's beautiful. It represents something that could have taken them out but didn't. It represents something that was difficult that they lived through. That's beautiful. It's beautiful that you overcame something hard. It's beautiful that maybe you've had a transplant and maybe you have scars from a transplant, or maybe you've donated a kidney to somebody and you have scars from it. Hey, one of the most beautiful scars of childbirth, right? Moms that are wearing stretch marks and you think that you're not beautiful because you have these stretch marks on your body. Those are beautiful. It means that your body changed in a way for you to give life to your child. Or maybe it wasn't even your child. Maybe you were a surrogate parent. Or you were a surrogate mom. And you helped somebody else have a baby. And now you have scars for it. Those scars are beautiful. I have stretch marks. Almost every woman has stretch marks. And guess what? It shows that at one time in life, your body grew. And now there's reminders of that growth. Don't ever feel bad because you have scars on you. Don't ever let somebody shame you and make you feel less than because your body looks a little different than theirs. I think your scars are beautiful. I think God's healing in you is beautiful. And I'm sorry that other people don't see it the same way. But God does. God doesn't look at you and put your scars down. God sees that you've trusted Him when it's been difficult. Maybe you've had treatment after treatment after treatment in the hospital. And you're a living miracle. And now you have scars all over your body to remind you of the treatments that you've had, to remind you of the things that you've went through. Don't ever feel ashamed for those scars. Don't ever feel like less than. You are not less than. God is with you and God is for you, and I'm so proud of you for overcoming every obstacle that you've faced. I'm so proud of you for being the person that you are, for overcoming tough circumstances, for not giving up when it probably would have been easier to. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for not hiding those scars, for not covering up those scars. Can I tell you something? There was a time in my life to where I was really ashamed of my scars, especially this one right here. And I used to cover it up. I used to put makeup on it, and I forget the makeup that I used, but it was a very thick makeup that I would use to cover it up. And I was so self-conscious about it, and I felt so ugly because I had a scar in the middle of my forehead. Here's the deal. My head went through a windshield, and if I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, I probably would have died. That scar is to remind me that I'm still here, that I went through something difficult, that I was in the hospital, that I had 31 stitches on my face. And if somebody ever comes into my life and puts me down for that scar, that's on them. If somebody in your life is putting you down for the scars in your life, maybe you're working through some trauma, and maybe you're going to counseling, and maybe there are mental scars that you are overcoming. I just want to encourage you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for healing. It doesn't come immediately. I had surgery last Thursday, and guess what? My stitches are not healed yet. It's going to take a couple weeks. It's going to be a process. But I'm not going to give up on the process. I'm going to wait patiently, and I'm going to put my cream on them every single day, and I'm going to wait for them to heal. And I'm going to trust that once they heal, the scars are going to be minimal. But if somebody asks me about my scar, I'm going to be able to tell them a story of healing. Your scars are really books. They're stories of healing. And yeah, some may be more difficult than others to share, but share them anyway. You never know how your story could help, could bless, could inspire, and could encourage other people with their stories too. Healing is so important. And scars are important too. Your scars are beautiful. I'm sorry that nobody has ever told you that, but they are. They're proof that you've overcome something. They're proof that God has healed something in your life. Your scars are beautiful. They are a reminder that you have healed. I have scars all over my body. I have stretch marks. I have chickenpox scars from when I got chickenpox when I was a senior in high school. And they said the older you get them, the worse they are. Yeah, they weren't lying. It was pretty bad. And yeah, I may have scars all over me, but every scar tells a story. And that story is worth telling. My life is beautiful, and every scar just adds to that beauty. Yeah, I've went through some stuff. I've lived through some stuff, and God has healed me. God has healed my mind. He's healed my spirit. He's healed my heart, and He's healed my body. And He's currently continuing to heal all of those things. And I'm not ashamed of my scars. I'm not ashamed of my past. I went through a divorce. There's some thick scars from that. There's some thick scars from my ex-husband cheating on me and being unfaithful and betraying me and having a double life. There's some thick scars from that. But guess what? I'm still here. I overcame. God helped me. And God's continuing to help me and to heal me. And guess what? Because of my scars, I get to tell other women that they're not alone in it. That when they are cheated on or somebody in their life breaks their heart, that they'll be able to get through it too. Not because I have all the answers, but because I've lived through it. Because I can share their scars. Because I can share that pain with them. Your scars are beautiful. I can remember a story that I heard when I was a little girl about scars and how those scars saved my life. In the Bible, it tells a story of Jesus and how the nails were dug into his hands. They were drilled into his hands, and the nails held him on the cross. Those nails were for my sin. Those nails were for all the things that I would do that didn't bring him glory, that didn't bring him joy. And he took that pain and he overcame that cross. And he died. He was buried in the tomb, and 3 days later he rose again. And guess what he chose to keep? He chose to keep those scars. Not because he wanted to brag about what he did, which he could have. Not because it was a fun experience for him and he wanted to show everybody how amazing it was. But because those scars showed his love. And because those scars showed that I was forgiven. And he wanted me to see that I was forgiven, right? Thomas in the Bible didn't believe until he saw. He wanted to touch those scars. He wanted to touch Jesus's hands so that he could believe. If Jesus didn't keep those scars, Thomas wouldn't have believed. How many of us, if Jesus didn't keep his scars, we wouldn't believe? Jesus kept his scars to tell the story of his love for us. That even in our sin, he loved us more. Even in our shame, that he didn't put on us, we put on ourselves. He loved us more. And he took on every sin and every shame that we would ever wear. He took it all upon himself. And he overcame that cross. And he healed, but he kept his scars for us. Like I said, your scars are not just for you. They are for you. They're a reminder of things that you've overcome, but they're for the people around you too. To know that they're not alone. To know that they can overcome too. If Jesus can overcome sin, death, hell, and the grave, he's showing us that we can overcome things too. And what we can't overcome in our own strength, he will help us overcome. That's what his scars prove. What do your scars prove? What have you overcome? What has Jesus helped you overcome? Think about it. When you look at your scars, don't look at shame. Don't pick yourself apart and put yourself down. Don't think that you're not beautiful just because maybe there's some scars on your skin. Maybe there's some stretch marks. Maybe you had a C-section from childbirth and you look at your stomach and you hate the way that it looks. That scar brought life into the world. If you've had surgeries or doctors have kept you alive and you have scars to show for it, that's God's hand in your difficult situations. And you've been healed to show others that they too can be healed. Your scars are beautiful. They're reminders of what you've overcome. They're proof of your healing. I love you, but more importantly, God loves you. He has healing for you. He has wholeness for you. He has redemption, and he has love for you. And I hope you can look at your scars and see his love. I hope you can look at your scars and see a victory story. I'm going to work really hard to look at my scars and see God's love and hear God's voice when I look at them, instead of hearing the voice of the enemy telling me that I'm ugly or telling me that the scars are ugly. Because scars are not ugly. They're proof that you've survived. They're proof that you've been healed. I love you. God loves you. God's got great plans for you. You are seen, celebrated, and loved, even with those scars. I'll catch you in the next one.